Hello there and welcome. Congratulations on downloading the 3 Killer Questions cheat sheet and stopping in your busy schedule here today to take a look at and ask yourself the question, am I getting the best from my accountant? And so the promise from this cheat sheet based around the 3 Killer Questions is that I'm going to help you find an accountant or convert your existing accountant to one who will go above and beyond just tax and compliance and actually help you achieve your goals without leaving you scratching your head about fees. And I'm sure we've all been there at some point. And so today, I'm here to help you find out what you should be asking, why you should be asking those questions, and how do you know if the fees are going to actually be worth it, even if you do find a new accountant. So that's what you're going to learn, because changing accountants really is a big deal. And since I've become involved in this space when I'm dealing with accountants and I'm dealing with clients, people don't change accountants lightly. It is a big decision to make. Often there's been a long relationship there. They probably know your business quite intimately, and they may even know more about your business than you do. So often it's like, well, if I lose that connection, I'm losing some of my business intel. There's complications sometimes around some of the structures and understanding why that structure was set up in place, and maybe some carryover actions and strategies that your current accountant may be holding close to his chest and may not be therefore that transferable into future strategies. And of course, there's always the dreaded conversation of, I'm changing to another accountant. People just don't want to have that conversation. So they stay where they are based upon that one fear, which seems crazy when you think about it. Your accountant is so critical to the success of your business and therefore the success of your own personal life and financial freedom, etc., etc. Yet because of a feeling and emotion that we don't want to face up to, we tend to stay where we are and potentially hamper our future success because of it. So yes, I understand it is a big deal to change your accountant, but so is your future and your success. And so I asked the question, how do you know? How do you know that you're actually getting value for money where you currently are? Is the grass greener on the other side? And so, even if you muster up the courage to change simply because you've had enough and you want better for you and your business, how do you know it's going to be better? Sure, anyone can talk the talk, but can they walk the walk? Once the change is made, how do you know before you make that change that it's actually going to be better? And also, without the new accountant charging you a bomb simply based around a time-based billing mechanism. And most accountants these days typically work off time-based billing. So yes, while accountants can do more for you, it often involves more in fees. And there's a bit of a double trap there, which I'll talk about in a moment, as to why some accountants don't go further, because they are worried about what fees you might incur as a result of it. Here's the question: how would you like to know that you are going to get value for money from the fees you pay to your accountant? That would be a great position to be in. And we can do this by actually interviewing your potential new accountant in the way that I'm going to outline for you today. This will help you get that clarity around, am I going to get value for money? But, is this for you? So for those people out there watching this, if you're in coast mode, your business is going okay, and you're not overly motivated or focused to actually do better in the business, and your business is basically going fine, then no, this is probably not for you. I'd suggest stay where you are. But if you have a desire to do better, if you're unsure whether your business is actually set up correctly, if you feel as though your accountancy fees are a little too expensive for what you get, and perhaps you're looking for just that little bit extra guidance and direction, more than just getting your tax done, then perhaps it's time to jump the gap. And that's what we're talking about today. We talk about this jump the gap analogy, which I'm going to give you some clarity on as we move through. And my promise is that I'm going to help you find an accountant who will go above and beyond tax and compliance and help you achieve your goals without scratching your head about fees. Because the gap is the thing that we've identified where most accountants won't go. And there's a double-edged fear here. And it's all based around fees, where we want you to start thinking differently about fees. And we want you to understand what accountants really should be doing, but many aren't. We want you to discover what an accountancy partner looks like. So when I say an accountancy partner, I actually truly mean somebody who's working with you, for you in your business, not just an outsourced service. And I actually want to shift your thinking from your accountancy fees being a cost burden to an investment outcome. And that can only happen if you're actually getting true value from that partnership. And this is what we call the gap. And so I ask you, have you ever done this? This is the scratching your head about fees piece. Well, today I want to show you how to build a relationship with your accountant so fees actually become simply an investment into your business because you're getting value from your accountant, and fees no longer feel like they're a necessary cost burden. They feel more like an investment into your business. And it all comes back to what we call the compliance complacency conundrum. So let's picture you, yourself and your business on the left, and there's your accountant on the right. Mightn't be the correct representation of your current accountant, but let's just run with it for now. And let's break this down. The compliance complacency conundrum is the fact that most accountants are focused on compliance. That is their first and foremost role, to make sure you're compliant with tax law, which is fantastic. But then there's this complacency piece. And complacency is, well, because I'm needed, because tax law is quite complicated, because most of my clients don't know enough about tax law to do their own, and I can do a better job because I'm a professional and I keep myself up to date, there's a little bit of complacency there from the accountancy point of view that, you know what, they need me. They need me and my fees are this, and I don't need to justify it other than that's my fees. So that's where the complacency piece comes in. They know, most accountants are pretty smart guys, as you know, but they also know that they could do more for your business. But then they get that apprehension around, well, sure, I could do more for them, but that's going to take more time, and therefore it's going to mean more fees. And if I increase their fees, they might leave. And so that's where the conundrum comes in, the compliance complacency conundrum. And this is where the gap appears from. So there is this significant gap between what accountancy firms are doing and what they should be doing. The way we see it is that they actually have a vested interest in your business success. So instead of being focused solely on compliance work and having a complacency of accountants' fees being a necessary cost burden, you, the client, need to step up and let your accountant know what you expect. Give them permission to go further. Let me dig a little bit deeper into this problem first. There's three main areas here of what's happening around the compliance complacency conundrum. One is there's the bare minimum approach, the compliance only, as I said. Little communication, lack of new ideas. It's just like, well, I don't want to do too much, it's going to cost them more. So I'm just going to do what's required of me and get the job out the door. The second area is all around communication, often one-way communication. It's often you chasing them, not them chasing you. How often have you had the experience where you see something in the media and go, oh, that might apply to me, and then you take that information to the account and say, hey, would this be applicable to me? You know, is there a lack of reminders and lack of awareness of actually what's happening out there? Shouldn't your accountant actually be coming to you with this sort of information? And the third area is always about that cost thing. You know, the number one reason I've seen people change accountants, the excuse or reason that's put up most often is fees. But I think we need to keep fees in perspective as to what's actually happening. And so why does it cost so much? Well, it feels expensive when we compare it to, I guess, a bill from, you know, the local mechanic. And often we only see the accountant for a certain number of minutes per year. Yet, we seem to get this bill that is way out of proportion to the amount of time we see them. Well, obviously there's a whole lot of work going in the background, but I've had somebody joke to me once that they don't like to drive past the accountant's office because they're worried they might get a bill. That's because they've driven past. And so the thing is, yes, it's time-based billing in most cases, but really we need to start questioning, where does the value kick in? So instead of having those three things, the bare minimum, the one-way communication, and the whole frustration around fees, what we really want to start to see is that, instead of getting the bare minimum, you should get an accountant that's focused on your goals and your business growth. You should have an accountant that, instead of providing one-way communication, you actually get a proactive partnership, somebody working with you, somebody coming to you with ideas and latest updates and things that are happening in your industry. And the third thing, of course, is really starting to try and get a return on investment. Your dollars that you spend with the accountant not being a cost burden, but being an investment in your business. So instead of sitting there scratching your head about fees and perhaps not being going to ask about it, you have a true feeling of value for money. You start to see the money spent on your accountancy as an investment rather than a necessary cost burden. But back to the gap. The gap between what accountancy firms are doing and what they should be doing. As I said, they have a vested interest in you doing better. The better you do in business, the better it looks for them as a client, the better they're going to be able to retain you, the more likely they are to get referrals from you and increase their actual client base. So it's a true win-win for everyone if we get this right. And so the three areas, we start to use an acronym around the GAP. The G, the A, the P all stand for something. Goals and growth, action and access, proactive and profit focused. And you can see here, we're basically trying to move you from being uninformed, uncertain and underperforming to being connected, constructive and confident in how your business is being managed. And it comes back to those three things: goals and growth, action and access, proactive communication and profit focus. And so bringing this to the point of the 3 killer questions we spoke about, how do you go about having this discussion with your current accountant or with your potential new accountant? I'm going to equip you now with 3 questions based upon each of the G, the A and the P that actually help you ask some really, intelligent and clever questions that demand good answers and are going to give you the confidence to be able to make a decision about whether your current or your new accountant is right for you on the future path that you want to go on. So let's get into it. The 3 killer questions. First one, around goals and growth. Killer question number 1 is, how do you help me move towards my goals and dreams? So immediately you'll notice it's a very open-ended question. They have to come up with a creative answer. And they have to be able to say something that satisfies you to that end. So it leaves it open. It's, rather than asking, do you help me move towards my goals and dreams? Well, anyone can answer yes to that. The key part is, how do you help me move towards my goals and dreams? Describe that to me. What does that look like? Physically, what happens? So that's a really good one to kick off on, because unless your accountant is focused on your goals and your dreams, well then really what's the point? Because they are the trusted advisor. They are the one that can take you further. And they'll know the ins, the outs, the strategies, the funding options that are available, all that sort of stuff that's around to help you make the next step and make wise steps going forward. But it has to start with being focused on your goals and your dreams. So that's killer question number 1. Killer question number 2 is more focused on action and access. And the question is, how would you manage action plans for my business, and how often could I expect them to be reviewed? So it's a little bit more specific, this question. It hones in on the whole fact around actions and action plans and documentation. But it also talks about how regularly are we going to dig this up and make sure we're on track or off track. So it's action and access. So action and access really leads into, are we going to take some action here? Or do I just get a piece of, a sentence of advice from you and I have to go out and try and make this happen? Are you left on your own? Or is somebody going to hold your hand and help hold you accountable to your own business and the plans going forward? So asking them around how do they formulate and track actions and strategies within the business that are advised out to you. And then the access thing obviously is around, well, how often are we going to meet? And what's my accessibility to you? Is it, can I have phone and email contact? It's only done through face-to-face meetings. And what are we going to talk about in those meetings? How often could I expect them to be reviewed? So that's killer question number 2. How would you manage my action plans for my business, and how often could I expect them to be reviewed? Again, open, but specific enough to drill into an area that should be important to you. Killer question number 3, all around proactive communication and profit focused. How often can I expect you to come to me with ideas to grow my business? Now, I don't know about you, but certainly for me, when I used to sit with my accountant many years ago, I was always looking for exactly this. Somebody would say, hey, you know what, have you thought about this? Why don't we try that? As I've become closer to the industry, I realised that it was so focused on compliance. Their role really is just, let's get you compliant, let's get your tax pushed through done. I'll try and maximise your return, or minimise the tax payable along the way. And then above and beyond that, we go back into that conundrum area where, yes, they could do more, but it's going to cost more, and they're just not sure whether you're willing to pay that. But by you asking this question, it clearly tells them that you want a deeper engagement and that you're looking to them for advice, which they are more than capable of doing, but they're just not often going to step over that line. So by asking them, how often can I expect you to come to me with ideas to grow my business? Not only have you got your on-the-ground, industry expert ideas coming to the surface, you've also got a professional's, a financial, fiscal professional that's got his handle on a number of different parts of how businesses should be run. And you've got those ideas from them coming to the surface and ideas from you coming to the surface, and somewhere in there you're going to get some good ideas to help grow and improve and maximise the potential of your business. So I think that's a fantastic question to be putting out there, and it really lets them know of where you're trying to head. So there's the 3 killer questions. 1, how do you help me move towards my goals and dreams? 2, how do you manage action plans for my business, and how often could I expect them to be reviewed? 3, how often can I expect you to come to me with ideas to grow my business? So let's have a look now. We're at a fork in the road. You can either keep doing what you're doing, you can either not ask these tough questions of your existing accountant or a potential new accountant, and you can just wait, hope for better outcomes to come through. The massive cliche, nothing changes if nothing changes. So you can leave it where it is and put your whole future at risk by not asking these tough questions, or you can actually take some action, take control of yourself, let your accountant know that you want more, different, or better. Because that's how we do business here. So I just want to run you through, I guess, the bigger picture. What I've talked about here with the GAP model is just one part of a bigger process that we run through with our clients here at Catalyst Accountants. We use it to demonstrate to our clients of what we can do for them, and we try and get an indication of, well, where do you see yourself fitting? So we don't want to overstep that mark, do everything and charge them massive fees if they don't really want it. But this is the process that we can potentially take clients through, and that's our model. That's the picture there. That's how we move clients through to success. And we welcome anyone who wants to explore that model a bit further. But I need to ask, why did you actually stop in your busy schedule and watch this video right through to this point? If you're still here right now, I suspect you've got some pretty deep burns around what's happening in your relationship with your accountant at the moment. And so then, what is it that you learn out of today? Is what you've seen here today worlds apart from what your current accountant is doing, or is it basically what he's doing already? maybe there's some other issues there if it's what he's already doing. All we can say is that this is how we do it, and if it feels right to you, maybe it's time for a change. But if you don't change something, how are you going to get the results you're looking for? And you've really got those two options. You can either go it alone, or you can reach out for help. Going alone, I can guarantee you, will slow it down. Yes, it might be cheaper. Yes, Dr. Google and all those sort of things can absolutely help. I totally believe in that. And if that's where your budget's at, that's absolutely fine. I encourage you to go for it, but set some goals. Follow the same models we've looked at here. Goals, actions, follow-up. But you also need, if you want to move quicker on this, I would be looking to accelerate the process. And how we can do that for you is that if you would like to reach out to us, we're offering free 10-minute strategy calls where we can actually answer the 3 killer questions for you and show you how we go about dealing with our clients, addressing those 3 questions for you. And we'll advise you not only about servicing, how we service the gap, but all parts of our client success roadmap. You can book that now by simply calling 0269 774 333 or visit our website, the link's there on the screen. Because the reason we built this is basically to help overcome that compliance complacency conundrum. This trap where the accountant feels they shouldn't do any more because the client doesn't want to pay any more. They don't want to be left scratching their head about the fees. But if we do our job properly, you will truly see the value in what we offer. However, if you're happy where you are, then stay there, or at least ask these questions of your current accountant. But really, I encourage you to book that call now. It's a free 10-minute call. We'll address those questions. We'll have a look at what are the key issues within your business right here, right now. Identify those 3 things and see where you want to take it from there. It's an obligation-free call. We just want to help identify those pain points in your business, answer those questions for you, and then leave the ball in your court, whatever you would like to do from there. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on. I hope it's been of some value to you. I congratulate you for taking the time out of the day. Obviously, you're fairly serious about your business and your business success, and I absolutely wish you all the best with the success that you're hoping to achieve.